Hello and welcome back to manvfilm. It is March already and it's time for another 10 movies for you to check out this month. I hope you find something here that you really enjoy. So let's get started and dive into this top 10. Number 10, The Amazing Mr. Blunden. A mysterious, very old solicitor, Mr. Blunden, visits Miss Allen and her young children in their squalid, tiny Camden Town flat and makes her an offer she can't refuse. The family become the housekeepers to a derelict country mansion in the charge of the solicitors. One day the children meet spirits of two other children who died in the mansion nearly 100 years previously. The Amazing Mr. Blunden is a wonderful movie from the 70s that I didn't even know existed until a couple of years ago, and it's now a firm favourite of mine. Just to see this childlike fairy tale come to life with wonderful characters, really horrendous bad guys that I want to see get their comeuppance, is just wonderful. It's a kind of time travelling ghost story as well, which I didn't even see coming when the movie started. The Amazing Mr. Blunden is a treat of a family film. Give it a good 10-15 minutes and you'll be suckered in to this delightful tale. Number 9, Grosse Point Blank. Martin Blank is a hitman with some emotional problems. He goes to a shrink who doesn't want him and has had reoccurring dreams about his long-lost love. When Blank gets an invitation to his high school reunion, he is originally dead against the idea. But when he's hired for a job in his hometown, he is forced to return there and come face to face with some old truths. Joan Cusack is brilliant as the hitman, having a nostalgic trip back in his hometown while having this really surreal and weird job at the same time. He is in this town, back with people he knew, trying to deal with the fact of how his life has turned out since then, reconnecting with his old love, and it's done with this wonderful soundtrack all the way through it. It just drives the movie forward. Grosse Point Blank is a wonderful flick, one of my favourites. Number 8, Blood Rage. Twins Todd and Terry seem like sweet boys, that is, until one of them takes an axe to the face of a fellow patron at a local drive-in. Todd is blamed for the bloody crime and institutionalised, while twin brother Terry goes free. 10 years later, the family gather around the table for a Thanksgiving meal, and then the news comes in that Todd has escaped. A wonderful slasher that doesn't have any pretense. It just jumps straight into the slashing in this one, and you get a wonderful performance from the lead actor as Todd and Terry. You get a twisted kind of tale and you get lots of blood and guts. It's a low budget movie, but they spend all their budget on this terrific practical effects all the way through it. And if you're a slasher fan like me, this may be one that you've never discovered. I loved it. I hope you will as well. Number 7, You're Next. When the Davison family come under attack during their wedding anniversary getaway, the gang of mysterious killers soon learn that one of the victims harbours a secret talent for fighting back. You're Next is a wonderful home invasion movie. It's wonderful because it turns the tables on the attackers. We've got somebody in amongst this group who knows how to handle themselves, who knows how to defend themselves in these kind of situations, and really turns the tables on the attackers. And that's where a lot of the fun comes from this one, watching the final girl just beat up these bad guys, taking them out with such glee. It's terrifically fun. Number 6, Speed. LA police officer Jack angers retired bomb squad member Howard Payne by foiling his attempt at taking hostages. In revenge, Payne arms a bus with a bomb that will explode if it drops below 50 miles an hour. With the help of spunky passenger Annie, Jack and his partner try to save the people in the bus before the bomb goes off. Classic 90s action movie, and it holds up terrifically well. Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock star in this one, and as exciting and as thrilling as when it first came out. It's such a great movie. I recently rewatched this one and I was just drawn in with the action and the thrills and suspense that this movie had, and it just delivered on everything that I remembered. If it's been a while since you've seen it, it's really worthwhile going back and checking out again. Number 5, Thunder Road. A police officer faces a personal meltdown following a divorce and the death of his mother. Jim Arnord, a police officer in Texas town, always tries to do the right thing, but he has more often than not done the wrong thing, resulting in having less than a perfect life. I really like Jim Cummings. He writes, directs, stars in this one, and he gives this really wonderful performance of a man in the middle of a nervous breakdown, who also happens to be a police officer and his inability to do his job because of his personal life. I think it's nuanced, it's perfectly acted, it's incredibly funny and endearing, and is one of the most bitterly laugh out loud moments I've ever seen in cinema, where there's a moment where Jim has to slap somebody. I won't say any more than that, but this is a movie that is just kind of tough and cringy to watch because it's so real in the way that it's made. Number 4, Coming to America. Heir apparent to Africa's prosperous kingdom Zamunda, Prince Akeem summons up the courage to reject the arranged marriage proposal on his 21st birthday. Bent on finding true love, the young aristocrat, along with his trusted valet Semi, find themselves in the strange and unknown urban jungle of New York City's Queens, trying to mingle with their neighbours by posing as humble exchange students. One of my favourite Eddie Murphy movies, and it has him and Arsenio Hall playing multiple roles throughout it as well. It's just one of these endearing, fun movies which has some laugh out loud moments that's still as funny today as it was back then. It hasn't aged too well in certain aspects. For the most part, it's just a fun love story with great comedic beats in it. Number 3, The Handmaiden. A new girl is hired as a handmaiden to a Japanese heiress who lives a secluded life on a large countryside estate with her domineering uncle. But the maid has a secret. She's a pickpocket recruited by a swindler posing as a Japanese count to help seduce the lady to elope with him, rob her of her fortune and lock her up in a madhouse. The plan seemed to proceed accordingly, but soon it unravels. The Handmaiden is an amazing movie, and it's one of these ones that's told in a really interesting fashion. You get a half hour of the story and you believe you're getting one kind of story, then it kind of travels back in time and shows it from a different point of view, changing everything, twisting and turning it into something magical. And it does this a couple of times, offering up these unique surprises, these twists and turns, all the while creating really worthwhile characters who you can get behind or hate depending on their motivations. The Handmaiden is a twisted and just fantastically elaborate, stunning looking movie that's just pure entertainment. Number 2, Wheels on Meals. Number 2, Wheels on Meals. Cousin Thomas and David are owners of a mobile restaurant who team up with their friend Moby, a bumbling private detective, to save the beautiful Sylvia, a pickpocket. Action and humour abound in the streets of Barcelona, culminating with a battle in the castle hideout of the evil gang. Wheels on Meals is a Jackie Chan movie starring Sammo Hung and Yuen Biao, and it's all about the physical action. Not just the action, because there's comedic moments in this as well, of these guys doing terrific stunts that are just jaw-dropping and watching. It has a rich theme of comedy through it as well, which is just really amazing, and some of the fights are incredible and just stick out. They stick in your mind. The one with Benny the Dragon is utterly amazing at the end. There are many other fight scenes that just wow you, watching their athletic prowess with doing this. If you haven't seen many Jackie Chan movies, it's a great one to check out. Number 1, Sonic the Hedgehog. The story of the world's speediest hedgehog as he embraces his new home on Earth. In this live-action adventure comedy, Sonic and his new best friend Tom team up to defend the planet from evil genius Dr. Robotnik and his plans for world domination. I was really surprised by Sonic the Hedgehog. I was reluctantly dragged to see this one at the cinema, and it turned out to be rather enjoyable. All down to Jim Carrey's performance. The movie is rather tropey and you understand exactly where it's going to go story-wise. But Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik is absolutely electric. Going back to his days of Ace Ventura and The Mask, the early 90s, he has this wild energy about himself that's really contagious and infectious while watching the movie. And although the movie feels a little bit formulaic, he brings it to life with a wonderfully energetic performance that is just utterly perfect. So there we have it, 10 movies from March 2021. I hope you find something there that you absolutely love, really enjoy, or hopefully nothing that ruins your evening. I'd love to know anyway. If there's anything I've missed off my list, let me know in the comment box, and I'll see you next time on Man v Film.